What is going on, people? Welcome back. Johnny here. We are going to get back to the Beastmen. I'd like to say thank you for staying with me. We're making some progress here, and eventually we will hit the road and make it to that ship, because it's going to be impossible for us to build our own ship here. I firmly believe, based on the research and the other limitations the Beastmen suffer. Let's just go claim an existing ship. I think that'll be fantastic. So you can see we're gonna go through some major troubles this episode, but it's nothing that the herd cannot recover from. So yeah, we are also going to be close to being able to sacrifice humans by the end of this one. So picking up at the beginning, we have pawns that are still trying to hunt with these whips. And given the short range, I just find it entertaining to watch these little ungors run around and chase after critters. And I don't know, once they hit them a few times, they do a good job. But otherwise, it's pretty pathetic. So in the north, not a lot happening yet. In the south, we have crops going. We still have a defoliator with 8 scythers laying there. We're going to have to deal with that mess at some point. Not sure we have sufficient traps to protect ourselves from that case, but we sure do have a shitload of beastmen, so we're also going to continue to make sacrifices and see if we can't get even more beastmen. So we're going to do a sacrifice here of an animal. The herd gathers. Galkraz calls out the name of corn, and the favor of corn looked to be 64 human meat that time. So anyways, then you can see what our current offering level is. Favor of corn is at 24. We have to be at 68. 8 times 8? Well, anyways, not 68, but 8 times 8 to get the next offering level. And as long as we keep taming animals, not going to be much of a problem at all. So, actually, I spoke wrong. You actually just have to sacrifice 30 animals. And if you read the description on the herdstone, it'll explain that. But regardless, that time we got a horn of corn, which will essentially make all animals on the map mad, even friendly animals. So be wary if you encounter one of these. They are very useful, but they do have some limitations. Regardless, I just stay right on top of continuing to sacrifice all these animals. One thing about sacrificing them is that you do still get their carcass for butchering and eating of the meat. So it's at that point that a big band of Skaven decide to show up. You can see one of them is a Faithful of Sigmar, which is a very dangerous situation for us, as they can drop 3 or 4 comments directly down on top of us. Fortunately, they do need line of sight to make that happen. So we're going to see if we can't capture that person, because it would be fun to be able to toss comets around. Plus, you sometimes get valuable stuff, and you can mine it. Not that the Beastmen are terribly concerned about wealth and value. We're already at 152,000, which is pretty high for my liking. I wish I had a way to wake up all those. There's our guy right there, but I wish I had a way to wake up those scythers and lure them down to deal with these Skaven for us and sort of pit 2 of our foes against each other. It's just not possible with how quick the Skaven move. So we're all set up as best we can here. I'm going to have these guys with these Zinch staffs just start blasting away. They're dangerous. We have to stay out of that area, but it's fine. We'll be just fine as long as we don't walk over there. We do have our shooters and our melee people. There we go. See? It's very effective. Many times have I taken friendly fire from those things. You can see one of those Skaven is literally just throwing poison bombs at us. We're going to have to go out and get him. We're suffering from some pretty extreme toxicity at this minor, but nonetheless we only suffered 2 hits from it. So anyway, there's all manner of these ratmen still coming in. Boom. There you go. That was very awesomely effective. It was the first time I tried it, and I liked it. I think I'll go that route again. So anyways, let's see if our guy survived. And actually he did. He's that dude right there. So we're going to capture that guy. Sadly, I don't realize that he's unwaveringly loyal till I already get him in prison. And at that point, there's not a lot more that we can do other than send someone in there to put him out of our misery. So that's what we're going to do. We're just going to beat him with a staff till he's dead. So it would have been nice to have that Sigmar pawn, but I think if you hit a certain threshold on your resistance, it's just considered unwavering, and that's the end of that. So there's a few other critters that survive, a bunch of our folks just standing around. We are going to bring their carcasses in for butchering. A little more meat is not going to hurt. We have enough of it rotting away all the time. That dog is burning, or that wolf rat, I should say, is burning right there. It's not making a pleasant sound. Somebody please put that out of its misery for us all. That's RimWorld. We got another fella down here. Skaven never going to be great pawns. We're going to continue to try and gather up wild heel ruts as well, but may or may not be worthwhile. Finally, that dog expires. I'm going to put some walls up in the north. We're really short on bedroom space, and we are turning existing bedrooms into prisons, so we're going to need that in order to get some stuff done. Dirtle over here drinking a beer and admiring the herdstone, but in the end we decided to have a sacrifice instead. There's no mood bonuses for doing those. That seemed to make things a little too easy if everybody got super happy every time we did that, because we can control it, and it just doesn't seem as fair to run things that way. So anyways, we're needing to make armor, helmets. See, our world renown is currently at 8, meaning we've sacrificed 8 animals, so we will carry on with that. Until, Stroke put on some armor from one of those dead guys. That's nice. Well, we got some wood from Papa Nurgle from that sacrifice. Yeah. So anyways, like I was saying, we're just going to continue doing that, make some more bedrooms, continue to expand in the space we have. I sent Dirtle over to wake these dicks up. The Scythers are pretty quick on their toes, too. And he has a decent recovery amount of time from shooting that weapon. So we better get something going here behind our safe walls. As good as it gets. But everybody gathers once again for another exciting battle. I don't know that our flaming staffs are going to be as effective against these dudes, because they're not as affected by fire as standard human-like pawns are, but we can cast Savage Dominion, which should spawn a Jabba's life, and hopefully that ties them up, maybe kills a few for us. Let's get the hell out of there as quick as we can. Once those Scythers get a hold of it, you'll, one of our guys, oh shit balls. So, looks like we had a major fail there. One of our fellas gets caught. But anyways, the Scythers are tying it up at that point. So we're going to turn off RunAndGun, turn off fire at will, and just stand here and hope these guys can take care of each other. Kolgar did get pretty decently injured. They're definitely going to bring that thing down. We should definitely be shooting, but I can't really control whether they're shooting it, the Jabber or the Scythers, without individually selecting each pawn. So anyways, we're going to send Kolgar to safety. He's injured. Thus far, I haven't lost anybody, but based on the intro, you know that's coming this episode. So that thing does time out eventually, and when it times out, it just disappears. Also, if it dies, it just disappears. So we got these dudes with the staffs. I'm going to start trying to light these fools up, and everybody else better just get their shit together and get ready for it, because here we go. We're going to start lobbing rocks up there too, even though they never hit what you're aiming at, seemingly. But we have no choice but to engage the Scythers in melee, which we all know is a fucking stupid idea. Nonetheless, that's where we're at. Letting that Jabber's life through the gate was a major mistake, and the Beastmen are paying for it now. We did get a Cornate Gore. Corn Gore Tyrant is his name. I have hundreds of names in for these guys, and they're sharing names already, which is not super cool. But anyways, we're going to let everybody just fire at will. If we take some friendly fire, so be it. We got a major Scyther problem on our hands here, so we have to deal with that. We got to get Tyrant over. I think we actually might have murdered them all, and off to the hospital with everybody at that point. Yeah, there you go. Big mess in the hospital. We need to get people focused. The moods are going to start falling apart too with all those injuries. Turns out we actually missed 3 of them. So of the 8 that were there, we only really dealt with 5 of them. It's not shitting out new ones. So we somehow didn't lure them all in. that's pretty sad. But the beasts enjoyed the bonfire, and along with the Skaven, they stand around shooting the shit, having fun. I need to make a prison for human-like pawns, because we are going to start sacrificing. And I also decided to take apart that ship artifact, aka structural beam that we found. There's no way we're ever going to build the ship. We're just going to get rid of it, and then we're going to travel the map and track one down, and that's going to be that. So prison is made. I'm sure it won't be too long before a bunch of jerks show up and try to kill us. So why not have some space for them? It's not going to be the cleanest space. We're not going to have much capacity for tending and healing them, but it is what it is. We do decide it's time to deal with this defoliator nonsense. It's not even really causing us any problems at this point, but better to nip it in the bud before it does. There you go. That dude is not taking a lot of damage from those flaming weapons, if any. Jesus Christ, they really bombed the snot out of him. It's fantastic to watch. Having a big group of those is pretty amazing, right? If you were to encounter human likes, it's just devastating. Thank God some of the dudes in the crew have shotguns to keep these guys off of us, because that just saved our bacon right there too while we're trying to run and gun these dudes. Anyways, you see, once again, we managed to run and gun a mighty ton of scythers. We still have some injured folks, and actually didn't bring the most injured of the crew out, because why risk it? This dude is... These guys are hard to bring down unless you have some real armor piercing, but regardless, we'll send some people up there to take out that ship. And another sacrifice is underway. We get 147 wood. The sacred number of Nurgle being 7, so we only have 3 more pawns that we can sacrifice, but we're working on taming more animals. Zonk goes berserk there. We send in a couple pawns to deal with that bit of moronity. And fortunately he's just bruised up because he has such good armor on. It's actually very survivable with that. And the new bedrooms are well underway. We need to get some power run through there so that we can get the lights on. Beastmen do not give any bit of a shit about any of that bedroom stuff. You could make one big tent and stick them all in there and call it good. I think you could even have them sleep outside and they wouldn't give a shit. But it's at that point that another large raid shows up. And we're going to try the JavaSlive trick again. And this time, close a freaking door. There's enough people dealing with it, though, that it's not going to last very long. I have no idea why it shows up and isn't large like it should be until it eventually pops into full size. But let's blame it on the magic. I think they're probably taking a lot of friendly fire there, too. And you can see there's 2 guys down, some injuries. But it doesn't take them much to bring that down. If you improve that Savage Dominion spell, it will last longer, and you will get tougher and tougher versions of the JavaSlive to deal with, or for your foes to deal with. But that is a, let's say, double-edged sword, because many of the times I've had to deal with that bastard myself. Alright, so they are in. Fortunately, we got them penned in this little weird spot behind our tents here, so we can just start giving them the business. I'm gonna bring Dirtle down. I did give him a sword. We're blowing the snot out of our own tents with these explosive weapons, but whatever. We're gonna send everybody outside and see if we can drop a few more of these a-holes. We also have some fires to contend with. So yeah, that's another downside of using those Zinch staffs. See, they just decimate humans. I should make some kind of equivalent, like it's an EMP that smokes the snot out of mechs, but it's not very fitting for something that's supposed to be medieval themed. Regardless, we do manage to capture a few people, so that's fantastic. We have to get some tents rebuilt and some walls rebuilt and a whole bunch of crap carried in. We still have fires out there. I'm debating on whether it's worthwhile, but I guess we'll expand home zone to get the fires put out again. And I guess the more people we can butcher, the better we are. We can also offer them up to corn or Nurgle if we let them sit around and rot. But in the winter, you actually have to build a tent and heat it in order to get the bodies to rot. Decided we're not going to be wasting any medicine on pawns that we are going to be sacrificing to the dark gods. We had a social fight between Dirtle and Metalfoot there. And it's back to sacrificing animals to Nurgle. If we can finally get, we still have to do 19 more of those. Oh, we do get a Nurgle pawn that time. You see they show up with a really awesome weapon. That one's actually sickly, which seems very fitting. We do have some infections in the prison. Again, if we could sacrifice now, I'd just put them out of our misery. But once again, a little time for fun, because these Skavens show up scattered all around the map. And you know there's going to be some inside of our area here, because generally there are, but maybe there's not. We do have some people outside, which is a major problem. Metalfoot over there on the left at the top is going to get his arse kicked. Ooh, he also gets hit by magic. One of those dudes must have had some Tzeentch magic. That'd be nice to capture him, though, so we'll have a go at that. I have to go rescue Metalfoot, but first we have bigger problems to deal with here, like keeping the Skaven from burning the base down, kidnapping anybody, or stealing anything. It's fun in fast mode. They're not running yet. Our animals are getting slaughtered by these D-bags somewhere. Fiery Paw's hiding at the north. And anyways, they do eventually decide to get the hell out of here. I should capture a few and imprison them so that we can convert them. Did take some decent wounds that time. We had a handful of people down. When they drop on your head, Fiery Paw is still drafted up there in the north. I'll have to fix that, but what a troublesome time this. I have no idea. I missed a message, but it looks like somebody's gone on a tantrum. So there you go. Again, the tents don't hold up for squat, nor do the power lines, clearly. So whenever they have tantrums, it's more than a little bit frustrating. But one of the prisoners, Ostrich, goes berserk, but Bengzada beats the snot out of him, and down he goes. So I did turn medicine on when they were infected, because I don't want them to expire before we have a chance to sacrifice them, and there's still wild medicine growing here just fine. So power is struggling a bit, and that's due to a zut that previously happened. Still working towards geothermal, but it's a tall order. 6,400 research points, which is pretty crazy. Another big group of Empire people shows up, and Fiery Paw gets caught out that time. Man, it's just been raid after raid after raid, and these are pretty significant raids too. It's not like it's just a few people. If you look at the top in the middle, Vilgra's there. He cracks me up because he's always wearing silly clothes. But the first thing he did when he showed up was put on a cowboy hat. I think he really just wants to be human again, assuming he wasn't born human. But there he is down there. Anyway, these guys are going to besiege us, so we desperately need to do something here in order to put the kibosh on that. Zonk decides to go berserk at that point, but we really don't have a way to deal with it, so it doesn't much matter. Turns out we got our hands full making sure these dicks don't bomb the snot out of us. Fiery Paw still up there. Once we get some of these Empire people dealt with, I decided to go out in the open and didn't really pay attention to how many ranged weapons these dudes had. So at that point, we decided to flee back into cover. Maybe a Javis Life conjuring is in order. It's not going to be long before they actually have some functioning mortars here, and we're a big-ass group of Beastmen. This isn't a very Beastman way to do things. There we go. Oh, they're actually magicking us. There's a jabber. Now I can get the snot out of there for a quick minute. Oh, God, they're kicking our ass. Yeah, maybe we should have, I don't know. I'm used to playing a medieval game. What I should do is just give every one of these dudes melee weapons that's decent at melee and just charge in and tie everybody up in combat. The jabber's getting its ass kicked over there, but that's just fine. Our new Nurgle pawn isn't holding up too well. They do manage to destroy the jabber, but you can see their blueprints went away, so I believe that means they're going to come and try and attack us. Sadly, we're so well injured that we cannot get people to move quick at all. A lot of people have gone down here. Bogeg's running from somebody. Wake Mata's fleeing. A lot of these pawn names were previous patrons. So it's funny to remember a patron I had years ago that I haven't had in a long time. But hey, man, that's the rule. You support me at that level, you get your name in the game. And there it is. We're just trying to make these dudes flee so we can get this goddamn nightmare cleaned up, but it's not going great. I'm not going to lie. We're starting a lot of people on fire. We actually just bombed the snot out of our own dude there. All right, we have to be close, right? They are going for the base in large numbers. We need to do something about Fiery Paw. Yeah, okay, we can rescue the dude for whatever that's worth. I need to keep an eye on our leader, our new leader, Galcross, because I don't want him dying either. Wakema's down. Oh, I haven't really been making a ton of use of the magic. There's so much other shit going on. We have meat rotting away. And yeah, I mean, it makes sense for the Skaven to have guns. Maybe when I rebuild the herd here, because clearly we're going to lose quite a few people. All right, they are fleeing at this point, which is fantastic. Jeez Louise. That was tough, but we did get some pretty solid firearms from them. They have a bunch of people to rescue. Moonteeth, maybe on the way out. I should probably check their stats and abilities here. I'm trying to find somebody that's not injured that can do the rescues for us, but everybody's pretty beat up here. They did leave us a shit ton of meals for the road. Nobody's moving terribly quick. You can see as well. There's Metalfoot. He didn't manage to make it either. Dirtle, 18 hours. You think he's going to make it over there and back and rescue that dude? Okay, well, anyways, the deaths start coming in. Zonk is still mad, so Lightning Feet's shooting the snot out of him. Needless to say, that Skaven armor is pretty goddamn tough. Might have to flee, buddy. Fortunately, he's not moving very quick. Molten Eyes, Kithzar, Necros. Yeah, definitely we need to do some rebuilding. Yeah, we're going to put that dude in the big prison. We'll continue to try to recruit him, but yeah, what a mess. It's fun, though. Like, we held our own pretty well. I think clearly better defenses are in order. Beastmen really don't have many great options for defense. I'm sick of there being meat everywhere because we've been butchering so many people. So we're going to build more shelves. Anyways, that's it for today, guys. Please leave me a like. I love you all. Leave a comment. You can show up in episode. I'll see you next time.